We open on Longclaw. Ed has some heavy man feelings over Jono leaving. He's like, steady on, I fucking got killed. Suddenly, Sansa and her new dream team show up, and Tommen has a big stiffy for Brienne. Jon and Sansa have a catch-up, and will take out the award for most smiles ever in a Game of Thrones episode. Davos says, what are you up to now you've brought Jono back? Mel's like, well, I'm gonna be part of his group. What fucking group? No big deal, just a new group. I wasn't bloody told about a new group. Brienne causes friction in the new group because of her dead Renly obsession. Milky still sucks at outdoor activities and bangs on about the moon door. Littlefinger is still in charge of the Vale. Tyrion invites a bunch of slave masters over for a party and a chat. He reckons slavery should be phased out over 7 years. That gives everyone time to make new business plans. The meeting ends with some minge. Former slaves are like, what was that meeting all about? Wormsy and Missandei know that 7 years of slavery isn't ideal, but she says we can't go on burning with big dragons. Although Wormsy got stabbed 58 times last season, he does still preach going to war. Dario brags about getting to bang Dany in multiple posies. Jorah tries to block out the mental imagery of that and stay focused on the mission. They punch their way into town. Jorah ends up needing to be saved by Dario. Fuck. He can't even get a route or win a fight. Dany goes for a walk with her new BFF. Dario and Jorah go, surprise, we're the rescue team. Dany says, you're so annoying, I already have a plan. Cut to a trendy standing desk. Marjorie listens to the High Sparrow talk about how he used to work in a Nike factory. He made good coin off of selling Air Jordans, which got him invited to some coke and sex parties. He ended up hating the parties, so left and hasn't worn shoes ever since. Loras looks like he's ready to live a shoeless life as well. King Tommo tells his mum that the High Sparrow asked him to keep a secret, but we don't get to bloody hear what the secret is yet. Olenna takes the piss out of Cersei again for not being queen. She really should stop doing that soon. Everyone acts like they're working together to get rid of the High Sparrow, but this is probably too good to be true. Theon returns home only to have his agenda questioned and be yelled at for being a mega big pussy. Osha has a crack at outsmarting Ramsay using the old sexy time tactic. But she ends up with a fucking knife in her face. Another big Tommen stiffy, a threatening email from Ramsay, and this new group will be heading back to Winterfell. Finally, Ozzy Man Reviews has to eat a humble pie after last week saying that Emilia Clarke is racist towards boobs. Unless they're CGI boobs, I can't tell. But whatever, fucking Jorah and I will take what we can get. She bloody roasted all the big-time Dothraki leaders. Fuck yes, Khaleesi.
Welcome to Intermission.
As usual, I leave it to the last minute to promote my fucking sponsors. It doesn't mean I don't love them, I do. Loot Crate has been genuinely impressive lately. I'll show you what I got last month. The theme was Quest, got a fucking David Bowie Labyrinth t-shirt there, got a bloody Vikings drinking horn from the TV show Vikings, got a bloody pair of Harry Potter socks, and an Uncharted 4 poster, and a fucking ice mold, that little blue thing there. So if you're into ice or other drugs, that could be handy for you. Basically, Loot Crate is monthly mystery geek boxes sent to your doorstep. I believe the next theme coming up is Power, and there's gonna be merchandise from Warcraft, Dragon Ball Z, possibly Lord of the Rings. The deadline to get in on that is May 20, less than 3 days. Use the custom URL, the Aussie Man Reviews URL, in the video description below, and the code AussieLoot to get 10% off. $10 from every sale goes towards my channel, so I fucking appreciate it. If you're more interested in just gaming merch, I've also got a URL for 1UP box there as well. Whoa, this episode had a shitload of subtext and gameplaying going on. Anyway, I'll start with me favourite scenes. It was fantastic to see a couple of Stark kids reunite. I am glad they didn't fucking miss each other by a day. Sansa rocking up to Castle Black. Which Jon? Did you see a look? Oh, Jon Snow, that Jon. The thing about that Jon is that we killed him, but don't cry, Magic Woman brought him back, and now he's gone on a holiday, okay? Thanks for coming, love, bye. The conflict between them over whether or not to take back Winterfell was solid. Jono had a bit of a conscience over killing Ollie, but yeah, nah, fuck Ollie. You can hear Sansa thinking that. Last week we saw Varys have a moment in the sun. Now this week we got to see Tyrion have a moment. Playing to the self-interest of rich wankers was a glorious thing. Tyrion and Varys are really fleshed out characters, and their substance and complexity can dwarf these supporting characters of Meereen, but it's all good. I really enjoyed all the scenes across the Narrow Sea this week. The ending was a fucking ripper. I think she's been a bit tedious because we never see many skills or abilities from her character. She simply commands and demands as a form of action. I consider this little push here, right here, the action of a leader getting her hands dirty, and that's respectable. To develop the character physically with her abilities to chuck a sissy spacek in carry and start a firestorm is great, because let's face it, her negotiation skills have been a bit shithouse, and Tyrion's scene really showed us that. A tinge of Targaryen madness in her face here was cool as fuck. A quick fuck yes to Brienne and Tommen, and it was great to see Littlefinger this week. It's gonna be interesting to see where his character goes. I think he's bitten off more than he can chew. Alliances over the seasons with Tyrells and Lannisters and Tullys and Boltons. I don't know, see how he goes helping Winterfell. I couldn't help think when he said the Vale is going to join the fray that he's been off making a deal with the bloody Freys. I liked the High Sparrow scene a lot more this week, to at least hear a concrete example of how he dabbled in sin at a feast and orgy party did flesh out his character nicely for me. Jonathan Pryce monologued the shit out of it. Marjorie says the title of the episode this week, it's called The Book of the Stranger. She quotes the Book of the Stranger, verse 25 or some shit. The High Sparrow essentially points out how Marge is still interested in money, finery, and power. The line quoted from the Book of the Stranger is about redeeming yourself after living under an indulgent facade. Money, finery, and power can bring about a life of lies and a society of oppression. Outside of the High Sparrow's rehab centre, Theon has his agenda questioned by Yara. She reckons he's after money, finery, and power. Littlefinger loves the Game of Thrones and is all about money, finery, and power. Tyrion totally knows these dickheads are obsessed with money, finery, and power. The Dothraki are offered money, finery, power in the form of a fuckload of horses to hand Dany over to the wise masters. Jono doesn't care about this shit though, because it means fighting and war, and he really just wants a holiday. Oh, okay. In the end, he decides to get involved, but he's not a sellout. The High Sparrow admitted wanting money, finery, and power when he was younger. He pursued it to the exclusion of all else, he says. What if he is still pursuing it to the exclusion of all else? Anyway, outside of themes for this week, it was overall a good thing to be away from Castle Black for a while and see how the other locations and plot lines are holding up quite well too. I think this sequence of King's Landing scenes holds a lot of information. I've watched it 3 times trying to make sense of it. There was a good little theory by a Reddit user in regards to what King Tommo's secret is. Just what the fuck did the High Sparrow tell him, and how does it impact things? I'll leave a link to that theory in the video description instead of acting like I thought of it. Cheers!
Money, it's a crime. Share it.